Okay, so as an agency, we have a policy on using targeting methods for Facebook. Basically, we specialize in creating high quality ads for our clients. And for our managed client work, we specialize in lead generation. We do some off projects for e commerce clients and also for white label marketing agencies, but those projects are compartmentalized in single ad launches that we just set up for clients and spin off and then do aftercare consulting. For our managed clients, and even for those single project clients, what we do is we set up broad targeting options for Facebook. And we use our Meta platform is what it's called now. The reason is broad targeting on Meta uses Meta's AI and machine learning um, beyond initial assumptions, allowing for greater scale and discovery of hidden audiences. There's a lot of data points that we don't know about, and a lot of things that we can't take into consideration, like all of these bullet points here. There's a bunch. So, trying to test a bunch of detailed targeting options, even lookalike audiences now, we have found to be kind of a waste of time and money, honestly. So we just don't do it as a policy. When you're a media buyer in my agency, you no longer use detailed targeting options or lookalike audiences. Now, the reason I'm doing this training is because it might be confusing to you, because we do create like planning documents and strategic documents for our clients. And one of which you get looped into is called the targeting summary. Okay. And this targeting summary will even talk about like lookalike audiences, detailed targeting. And I'm going to tell you right now that, the purpose of this is for you to look at the geographic location, because you have to target people in a service area. We do have clients that can only service people in a certain geographic area. So we only target in that geographic area. Right. And we do have to turn off some of the features around targeting that Meta will use to actually target people outside of an area you designate. As crazy as that sounds, they do that. They'll turn on options to target people traveling to that area and for whatever reason, or interested in that area, because some businesses still want to capture people, but mostly we just turn that off because we found after doing lots of testing that that is very hurtful to our clients' conversions. So you have to follow this policy in the best interest of the client and understand that like these other targeting things like behavioral interest, lookalike audience implementation, these types of things, this is all for the client. This is all to make the client feel good about us doing technical things in their ad account, like literally. All you care about at the media buying level is geographic location. Where are we targeting people, right? So this is an example of a client's targeting strategy where they actually just target the entire United States, right? Because they get leads for investors in their wealth fund. It's like a real estate fund. And that's what we do. And that's like simply what we do. Okay. So here's an example of an ad account. This is a personal injury attorney, and I'm going to give you this example because this particular client has a service area, like we were talking about. And we can see that this service area for this particular client is Arizona. Okay. Or I'm sorry, California, right? So California is their service area. And with California, we've got it set so that it will not, when you click on the edit here, it will not reach more people likely to respond to your ads. They'll show ads to people interested in your selected cities and regions, people interested in those areas, not in them. We turn that off, always turn this off. This doesn't just pop up here either. Okay, you have to watch out for this. Facebook tries to do this. Like you'll go to duplicate an ad set so you can work off of it and work off of the stuff you're doing. You have to turn off these things because it'll actually bring it up and just duplicate the original setup. Okay. Keep an eye out for that. But you'll see that sometimes we're targeting in a county, sometimes it's a city, like a metropolitan area, and sometimes it's an entire state. Like in the case of personal injury lawyers, they usually service an entire state, or maybe multiple states, like a couple states. Okay. So you have to pay attention to this, and then we don't do anything else. Like, don't you leave everything else broad, right? You're not going to put detailed stuff in. You use Advantage Audience Plus because we structure our ads as dynamic ads for retargeting purposes. We allow Meta to do the retargeting for us. That actually plays in part with these dynamic creative functions. This dynamic creative function, we turn that on. It's important that we're also using the Advantage Audience Plus with automatic placements. We use automatic placements because, remember, we require the use of square and vertical media in every dynamic ad set. So that way we have square media, we have video creative, conversion, and awareness-based stuff. So with Advantage placements, these square placements will go well in timeline. The vertical media, like the video, will go well into like stories and reels. That's what we do as a standard procedure. And so that's why having the targeting set up this way is very important. One thing we do to avoid, where that option gets switched on is we actually save the audience. Even though everything's broad, I still, if they're in a location, I make sure that this is turned off. I have my geographic settings set, and I simply save the audience as AE validated 1. It's the first one. If for some reason we're adding a service area for the client or something else, I may add something in there, like another state, or I might add another zip code or something specific if the client wants it. I would update that, and then I'd save it again and say it's out AE validated 2. The reason why I say it's validated is because sometimes the client looks at the audience, and again, we're a very client-facing business. We know that making our clients feel good is very important. So they want to know that we understand technical things about Facebook, but for technical purposes, we're just going to do the best thing, which is go broad and be very restrictive about geographics. The reason we go so broad is because we use high friction lead forms. Our lead forms actually have multiple conditional logic questions. It's very common for us to use SMS verification. That's actually how we start out with lead forms. In some cases, like this client, if you're not getting enough leads coming in, we start removing friction. So we start out with high friction, and then as we're running ads, if we're not getting enough results for the client, we'll turn off SMS verification, or we'll remove questions and make, so there's still friction here. We have 2 conditional logic questions for this particular client, this lead form we're using. But we have many other ad accounts where we leave on. If we start getting the results and we have high friction, we leave it that way because it results in higher quality leads for our client. Okay, but we would rather start out with high friction and then incrementally remove it. You'll see here, we actually removed 6 pieces of friction, or did 6 updates. We might have changed this graphic up here too. We test different graphics for trust building. Generally speaking, organic picture of like the client and their team, and then like an overlay of reviews about how great they are. Actual reviews usually helps with conversions. It builds trust. Okay, so we went through 6 iterations until we got to this last one. We actually did turn off the no SMS verification. So that's why we go broad with targeting, because we are creating successful leads with high friction forms. So we want to cast a big wide net with targeting and serve lots of impressions and try to source people to get clicks on this. Then in the form, we're going to filter that down to actual high intent leads. And what that does is it ends up getting us leads. It ends up getting us leads that create a positive feedback loop into the campaign, and it optimizes that broad targeting to become more accurate through successful campaign events, right? Because we're optimizing for lead conversions. When you get more lead conversions, as you get more lead conversions, you are going to get better targeting while targeting broad. So that's works very well for us. It's been working very well for us, makes our clients very happy. So as a matter of policy, when you review these targeting summaries, you're actually only using one targeting strategy. that I've just described here on every single client. The rest of this stuff is here just to help the client understand that we know where their customers are at. We understand how to message them. And we understand that, lookalike audiences are valuable and we have all these different options, right? But the reality of what we actually do in technical media buying is behind the door, like where we make the sausage, so to speak, at a media buying level. This is our policy, okay? And this is like, we are very client facing. Like I said, we do things like this to make them feel good about our media buying and that we are technical people. But how we actually structure campaigns and do things really isn't of any concern to the client. They may have questions or they may see things like this and they just feel good when they see that we have technical knowledge, basically. And that's mostly the purpose of this document. And all you really care about is geographic location and making sure that your targeting settings aren't using automatic options on Meta that are going to screw up your geofencing, because you're tightly fencing in the area where our clients do their service or how they deliver their service, whether that be at a national level, a state level in the United States, a zip code, or a county. Usually it's pretty broad. Usually if the smallest area we're doing usually is like a metropolitan city area or multiple counties. Usually if we are doing counties, it's like more than one. But you'll see that here. And so that's why I want to go through with this. I'm very particular about this because it works very well for us in the way that we run our ads, generally being that we are a lead generation shop. We are a shop that specializes in getting high quality leads for our clients. And this is pretty much how we do it. All right, thanks.